During the mid-1980s, the Nintendo Famicom was dominating the home video market in Japan, with selling a little over 3 million units in the first year. Around this time period, Nintendo was struggling with stock as the demand for units from stores was sky high. Retailers were also asking Nintendo for cheaper games as the cost of chips and semiconductors made cartridges expensive, and they were costing Nintendo and stores a lot of money. After listening to the feedback, Nintendo would then start looking for ways to keep down the cost of games for the Famicom. Nintendo would see with personal computers that floppy disks were the standard for storage. They were cheap to manufacture and were capable of being rewritten, making games being produced so much easier. All of this made Nintendo to start creating a floppy disk add-on for the Famicom. Nintendo would use Mitsumi's Quick Disk as the media for the add-on, a cheaper, quicker alternative to floppy disks that could hold more storage than cartridges. The ability to allow user saves and more sound channels so music in-game would be more detailed. The actual piece of hardware was produced by the same team that designed the Famicom. This was Nintendo and Masayuki Imura. There was only a few delays before the release, which were more than likely wanting to manufacture more systems and games. The Famicom Disk System would eventually be released on February 21st, 1986 for the price of 15,000 yen. The main launch game was The Legend of Zelda, with re-releases of cartridge games. It's crazy to see how much Zelda has grown into one of Nintendo's most important franchises, going from a never-before-seen game on a console add-on to Nintendo's largest game ever. The Famicom Disk System had a mascot called Discoon, which kinda looks like one of the discs for the system. Nintendo went all out with Discoon and was really advertising it everywhere, and at one point, Discoon was the image of Nintendo and not Mario. With all of this coming to play, the Famicom Disk System sold over 3,000 units within the first 3 months, and eventually hitting 2 million at the end of the year, making it quite a success, with Nintendo assuring that all first-party releases would only be out on the system. Along with the release of the Famicom Disk System, Nintendo teamed up with numerous toy and electronic stores to place Famicom kiosk machines in them. This allowed consumers to rewrite games onto their own discs for a small fee of 500 yen. You could also buy a blank disc for 2,000 yen. There was also special competition machines where customers could insert their disc and their high score would be recorded down. Winners would receive rewards like a gold Punch-Out cartridge. Although it might seem that the Famicom Disk System was a success, there was a lot of problems that the add-on suffered. The disc quality is probably the biggest problem, as they are poor. Nintendo removed the disc shutter to save money and instead stored discs in wax sleeves. This meant discs could get easily dirty and get fingerprints all on them. Third-party developers were also angry with Nintendo, as Nintendo were extremely strict with licensing fees, wanting 50% copyright of each game. Therefore, many developers like Hudson Soft and Namco refused to make any games for the system. 4 months after the release of the Disk System, Capcom released a Famicom conversion of Ghosts and Goblins on a 128KB cartridge, which was longer than the Disk System's 112KB capacity. This made consumers and developers less impressed with the Disk System. To wrap things up, the Famicom Disk System was a very ambitious add-on that kinda worked. However, by 1989, advancements in technology made cartridges easier and cheaper to produce, so it left the system quite outdated. The Famicom disk system sold around 4.4 million units in its life cycle, and was quite popular still with those who bought one, as Nintendo kept disc writing services up to 2003 and technical services to 2007. So that was the Famicom disk system. Let me know down below what are your opinions on it. Until next time.